Nothing sounds quite as scary as being trapped in a small metal shell, surrounded by water on all sides. The only thing keeping you alive is the thick metal hull surrounding you. If that doesn't sound scary to you, congratulations. You should get a job on a submarine. Now, how old do you think submarines are? Obviously, well, early ships were all made out of wood. Submarines can't be made out of wood. It floats. So when did we even develop the technology to create a functioning submarine? The First World War, maybe? Submarines are actually built earlier than you might think. At least earlier than I thought. Maybe you're smarter than me. Believe it or not, I'm not lying though, so you should probably believe it. The Confederate Navy had a submarine during the American Civil War. Actually, both sides had submarines, but I'm going to talk about a Confederate boat, the H.L. Hunley. The Hunley was designed by Horace Lawson Hunley, clearly a humble character, who sought to aid the Confederate war effort while also helping his pockets, since there were ample bounties offered by the Confederate government for anyone who could sink Union ships. The H.L. Hunley was actually the third submarine attempt from Hunley, who had to abandon his two previous attempts. Since it was still the early days of hand pumps, raising the ship required the crew to hand pump water out of the ballast tanks, something that could cause problems if members became incapacitated. Oh, and the propeller was also operated by a hand crank. Combine this with extremely cramped quarters, like 4 meters top to bottom. It probably wasn't very fun to be a crew member. Remember, there's a bunch of dudes crammed in there turning a giant crank. It also probably wasn't fun since the sub kept sinking. Sinking might not be the right word though. First, before a test dive, the captain of the Hunley accidentally hit the lever to make the ship dive. The problem was that the hatches were still open, which meant the ship immediately started filling with water. Fast. Of course, the captain escaped, but 5 men died and the Hunley had to be fished out back to the surface. Then, during a training exercise, the Hunley went under the water and just never came up. The exact issue couldn't be identified since nobody survived. But Horace Hunley was aboard the ship helping to command it, so the Hunley took the life of its own creator. But the Confederates raised it again and prepared to use it to attack the Union. However, after the second incident, it was decided that the Hunley would only perform an attack well above the water, which kind of takes away some of the advantage of having a submarine. The method of attack would be a spar torpedo, which is basically just a bomb on a stick. In theory, you hit the boat with the bomb, then you get further away, and then you detonate it. Finally, in 1864, the Hunley got its chance. While attempting to break the Union blockade of Charleston, the submarine attacked the USS Housatonic. It speared the Housatonic with its spar torpedo, successfully sinking it. Indeed, this was the first time a submarine had successfully sunk another ship in combat. I'm obviously not counting the times the Hunley sunk itself. But after the attack, the ship disappeared. Everyone was surprised by this, but I mean, looking at all of the information, I'm not really surprised that it sank. It's kind of like what it did. If it was a FIFA player, it would have 99 sinking. Anyway, the wreck was only discovered in 1970, over 100 years later, and it was only explored in 1995. In 2000, it was raised so that it could be further researched. Since then, researchers have concluded that the ship's bomb detonated while still on the stick, aka they didn't detonate the spar torpedo from a distance. It went off while they were right next to it. The crew was most likely killed immediately as a result of the blast. Not by the ship sinking, but as a result of the pressure waves that would have reverberated through the vessel. Once they were dead, there was no way for the submarine to be raised, and so it was doomed again. Honestly, the H.L. Hunley wasn't really a good submarine, but it does make for a good story. I'm History with Dino. Please subscribe to my channel to support me. I will see you soon with some more videos. Thank you very much for watching.